Hi guys, how's it going? Can someone let me know that everything's working properly? I'll just play a little bit more until we get some messages through. Just so. Great, thanks Scooby. Okay, so you can hear my voice and you can hear the guitar and all that sort of stuff. So let me get this up. Do you know? So thanks guys for getting some questions in early. Thanks Alex, sorry, and Scooby Stap and Alan. So yeah, I'll answer those questions. What I thought we'd do today is to have a look at the effects loop in the Katana. Now, the Katana is really, it's got a great effects loop. Now, recently, I don't know if you've been watching my sort of videos that I've been doing on sort of high-end amplifiers, but all of the amplifiers that I've got and tried, the Katana actually has a better sounding effects loop for some bizarre reason. And you spend, James is in the house. Can we still to the guitar, please? Yes, if you do this. How's that? How's that, James? Yeah, it actually has a better effects loop in it. It's far more usable, and yeah, I'm a bit peed off about my the effects loops inside these other amplifiers. Anyway, talking about the Katana, which actually has a great effects loop. So what I thought we'd do today, and I've set this up. Let me change this back to there. Right. Now, if you have a look at the effects that I've set up, now all of these pedals are going into the effects loop of the Katana, and I'm doing things in a slightly different way that I wouldn't normally do, or I haven't done before. And that is, first of all, is to put a overdrive pedal inside the effects loop. I've also got a Boss G7 equalizer in the effects loop. I've got a Spark, which is a boost. That is just a clean boost pedal. Does 20 dB of clean boost. So you can think of it in the effects loop. Well, I'll explain that in a minute, actually. And I've got a delay pedal, which is quite traditional to use in an effects loop. So let me just go through the different effects, and I'll explain how I'm using them. So if I click on the plumes pedal, first of all. So I've actually got that overdrive going through the effects. The equalizer, you shouldn't actually hear this. This shouldn't actually make any difference if I leave the EQ exactly flat. There we go. It's not flat. There we go. So that should sound the same when it's in or out at the moment. And then we've got a boost pedal. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the delay pedal, and we'll go the opposite direction. I'll tell you what, let me do this, and you can see me there. How's that? Now, traditionally with an effects loop, you can use things like time-based effects. That's where the effects loops work best. So things like reverbs, delays, you can put things like choruses and flanges, phasers in the effects loop, although I tend to find that choruses, flanges and phasers work best going into the front of the amp. So let me switch over to the Katana, which should, sorry, to the software, which should be on this one here. Okay, here we go. Let me move this over. Now, if you load up Tone Studio software, you'll see you've got this tab here that says send and return. Now, I personally think Boss could have done things a little bit different with this, and I'll explain in a minute. But you've got a couple of different choices where to put the effects loop. Now, you can switch the effects loop in and out, and this is controllable from your GAFC foot controller if you've got one of them. Mine, for some reason, I pulled out today. I was going to try and demonstrate this with the GAFC, but mine's died for some reason. So, but on the GAFC, you can actually switch in and out the effects loop. So say that you want to put a delay in the effects loop. you can switch the delay on and off via your GAFC or via the software here. So, for instance, if I switch it on, now, I know that there are delays inside the Katana, and the delays in the Katana are absolutely great, and they're fine. But if you get a dedicated delay, it will sound better. It will definitely sound better. Something like this is actually quite. Oh, sorry. Let me switch back to the other one. Something like this TC Electronic Alter Ego. It's quite old now, but they still sound great. And to me, they do sound better than the delays that you're going to get inside the Katana. But you don't have to get one of these. So with this, I've got 3 different presets of delays. Now this is why, let's switch back to myself here. This is why it's so handy to have something like this. Do that, there we go. Because you've got 3 different presets inside your effects loop. So for instance, I could have this dotted 8th note delay. I could have a slapback delay. And I've got like a modulated delay on this one. This delay pedal does actually sound really, really good. Okay, so that's one way of using the effects loop. Now, if I go back to the Tone Studio software by doing this, yes, there we go. Now, you've got a couple of different choices inside Tone Studio where to put the effects loop. So this is what's really good about the Boss Katana, because inside the effects loop, you can actually move the effects loop about. Now, I said earlier that I think Boss could have changed this a little bit. If I click here, so I've got to wait for the software to catch up. Come on, come on. There we go. Now, I've got the choice of post amp or post reverb. Now, I think this would have been so handy if Boss would have put in a pre-amp as well. So that's before the amplifier, and that way you could have like delays and overdrive pedals going in before the preamp side of the Katana, and then you can switch them in and out from the GAFC foot controller. But anyway, if I go to my chain, now you'll see here where the effects loop is going to be. So if it's post amplifier, say like on this, it's going to be before the mod, before the effects, before all the delays and the reverb. On this one, the amp just moves up further and further towards the end chain or the reverb or the speaker. Now, if the other option here, if I go back to send and return, the other option is post reverb. So if I click on the chain, now that's going to be after the reverb, so just before the speaker. Now, why is that handy? Well, if you want to run the only reason why I think that would be handy is, well, 2 reasons. 1, if you've got another reverb, and 2, if you've got a boost pedal. So let me go back to let me keep it on chain 3, and let's go back to the send and return. And if I choose post reverb, now if I go back to this camera, switch on there. Now, this boost pedal now is coming after all of the effects, including after the reverb. So the reverb is going to run itself into this pedal. Now, that could be handy because you might want to give everything a boost. You might not want to load your guitar, your amp signal going into all those effects. So, for instance, if I turn the level all the way down on this boost, so you can't hear any difference. Now, if I turn up the level, I can give myself a volume boost, especially because we're going through the effects loop. If you want to have a lead boost, say that you've got your guitar tone sorted out and you just want to do a lead boost, that's a great way of being able to increase the volume of the Katana without having sort of volume pedals and that sort of stuff. Now, the only thing is, I've got a stereo reverb because I'm actually running this into my DAW. I'm using the USB out of the Katana. My reverb stereo. So I've actually taken the reverb out, but now I've put the spark after the reverb. Now the spark's mono, so now I've made my reverb mono. So let me just wait for the software to catch up. There we go. Okay. Right, now if I click here, if I go post amp, now this is now going to be before all of my effects, so I can still keep all of the stereo effects if I'm using the USB out, or if I've got a the stereo expand feature attached to the Katana. So now what I can do, this is a much better way of doing it, because now I can use the spark as my boost. So there's my rhythm sound. And then when I want to go to my solo, I click on the spark. And I get a massive volume boost. Now this is different. If I run that spark into the front of the amp, what's going to happen is the spark is going to be overdriving that boost pedal. The spark is going to be overdriving the front of the amp, so you're going to get more gain going into the amplifier, so you're going to get more overdrive. So if you just want to use it as a volume boost, go inside your effects loop. Okay, that's that. Let me go back to this camera. Okay, so we've done that. Okay, equalizer. Now, inside the Boss Katana, there's EQs where you can actually EQ the sound of the amp. But the only thing is, and I'll just let me just switch over to that. Actually, let me go to there, and that is here in the Tone Studio software. The software is really slow today. Let me click on that. Come on. Okay, so here's the EQ. But the thing is, you're at a gig. You don't want to take a laptop along with you. You don't want to be, changing the EQ of, while you're in front of your amp. So that's why we can have an EQ. Now, what I can do with EQ, if I find like a frequency at the gig that I really don't like on this, I think there's a little bit too much 400. I can just dip it back slightly and then compensate with the volume. So it's a real quick and easy way to to EQ your actual the sound of your amp in the room. Now you can also use something like this as a boost as well, as it's got a massive amount of gain. So again, like the spark pedal, you can use this as a boost pedal. Now, lastly, let me just see if I'm actually I've been ignoring all the questions. I'm just making sure that. Okay, I can't see all the questions, but anyway, I'll do that in a minute. Lastly, overdrive pedal. Now, traditionally, you wouldn't put an overdrive pedal in front of the amp. Sorry, let me say that again. Traditionally, you wouldn't put the overdrive pedal in an effects loop, because an overdrive pedal it's before the amplifier. Okay, so you plug your guitar into the overdrive pedal then plugs into the front of your amp. But certain amp designs, things like Dumbles, basically the EQ comes before the gain circuit, or there is an EQ before the gain circuit. So what you can do with an effects loop and putting an overdrive in an effects loop is to get more of that sort of, it's not going to sound like a Dumble, but you get more of that sort of Dumble sound. Now, if I plug this pedal, where are we? If I plug this pedal into the front of my amp, I'm going to get less gain, or I'm going to have to drive it harder if I want that sort of sound. Now, because I'm running the EQ and the amp section into this, I'm actually going to get more gain out of it. So it sounds like this. Switch me on there. So you can get a really great tone just by plugging this into the effects loop. And that's why I think the Katana effects loop is so good, because overdrive pedals do sound good going into them. Right, one more thing, and then we'll get to the questions, because I'm probably boring you all with effects loop stuff. Let me go back to the send and return, the effects loop thing here, the tab here. Okay, now you also got these two different modes, series and parallel. Honestly, don't use parallel. Basically what that's going to do is it's going to give you, as opposed to the guitar signal running, the amp sort of running into the effects loop, what you're doing is you're splitting the signal, so you're getting the amp signal and then you're going to get the effect that you're putting in the effects loop on top of it. And you can get some sort of phasing things. There are ways around this, but honestly I just always stick to parallel. But I'll show you what it sounds like. If I switch on the delay, let me switch it to, so here's it in series, how it should be. And now if I switch to parallel, you get sort of phasing issues. So just leave it in series mode. Actually, did you guys see that? I don't even know if you did. Oh, don't worry, it's all good. It's all good. Let's get back to let's get to the questions. Let me just close that and excuse me, just I have to resize on my screen when I do the questions. Okay, let's start from the top. Let me just make sure that. Okay, it's all good. It looks like we're all good. We're all good. Okay. Okay, Alec Bourne, MIDI Mad Scientist said, what's happening, lads? What's the thoughts on the new air-step cap version for the big Katana? Funny enough, Alex, I've got a box and I haven't even opened yet. Okay, so this is the Katana air-step. It'd be interesting to see, you know, what you can do with it. So at the moment, you can use this if you've got Android. You can use this if you've got a iOS or Apple products. You can't use this at the moment. So I think they're finishing the software really soon. So I'm going to be doing a review on this, but I can't use it at the moment because I haven't got any Android stuff. So, but it's going to be good. Apparently, there's loads of features in it that that you can change, which is really good. So we'll have a look at that as soon as the software is released. Scooby Stap said, if you're going to use a looper with the Katana, say the modded Marshall tone, would you put the looper pedal in the effects loop? I would, yeah. I'd put the looper pedal in the effects loop, and there's a reason for that. As James found out today, basically, if you put a looper before into the front of the amp, and you play you play a guitar part, then you're looping that guitar part, then you play another thing on top of it. Now you're adding all those guitar parts and the volume's getting louder and louder, and you're just driving to the front of your amp, and it's just going to get more and more distorted. So yes, personally I would use loopers in an effects loop. Hi Paul, we're here but carry on playing. Alan, cheers Alan. Bruce is in the house. Dilly Black, sound and vision great, cheers. James is in, howdy y'all, from K Michael P. Dilly Black says, trying to decide whether to sell my Cat 50 Mark 1 and replace it with a Cat 100 Mark 2. To be honest, the Mark 1 is only just for around the house. I use a Hampstead on my home built JTM 45 and 1936 for gig. Nice. Yeah, I would. Actually, well, I mean, if it's for just around the house, the Cat 50 is fine. If you want to do more things with it, you know, like use the effects loop, you can't do that with the Cat 50. The Mark II version is definitely better. You can do more. You've got more effects to stack up. Personally, I would, if you can afford it. Diddy Black also says, seems like the features on the Mark II look better. Do you think it's worth making the change, especially if there is a Mark III around the corner? Now, I don't know anything about a Mark III coming out. So, I mean, yeah, I would have thought that Boss would tell me if a Mark III was coming out. So, yeah, I don't know anything about that. Lando, what channel of the plumes do you have enabled? Okay, so it's switched right over to the number 1. Switch over to number 1. Plumes is really good actually, and that's this pedal here. They're really good, made by Earthquaker Devices. It's sort of like 3 pedals in one, although it's not really that. It's not versatile. For me, I only use it in channel 1, which I think is more like a tube screamer. I could be wrong. You've got like a tube screamer side, then you've got like a bit of a treble boost side, and then you've got something that's a bit more like a clon, although they don't sound like clones. I personally think it sounds better than a clon. I've got a clon over here, not a real clon, a Raya clone, and yeah, I prefer the plumes. Ridiculous Wonk, Dilly Black. I'm in the same boat. I really like the sound of the variation on the clean. Yes, I mean that is the main point of it for me. That clean 2 with the variation, sorry, the clean with the variation button that's what makes it. Scooby Stab says, do you find using the Boss GE7 to be better than using the internal equalizer on the Katana, or no difference? Yeah, personally I do. I personally think, I mean, you know, the Katana is made to a budget, and the EQ, like a proper analog EQ, like what is on the G7, sounds better than the one internally, and I think the frequencies are more correct. I think some of the frequencies, even though it might say like 400 hertz on the Katana EQ, it's not quite 400 hertz to my ears anyway. Where are we? Let me. Whoops. I've lost my questions. Let's do that. Let me go back. Oh my God, what's going on? Here we go. No. Hold on, people. I'll be there in a second. Okay. Where are we? Len Probert, can you only assign an expression pedal to one channel at a time? I'm trying to think why you'd want to assign it to different channels. So yeah, let me know, Len, why you'd want to assign it. I mean, you can only use one channel at a time, and then assign the expression pedal to that, and then on a different patch assign it to something different. Unless you mean, can you assign an expression pedal to one effect at a time? No, I don't think so. I think you could probably do multiple effects. So for instance, if you want to assign an expression pedal to a delay and a reverb, say like the mix of a delay and a reverb, so when you push the expression pedal down, you get more of the effect. I'm sure you can do that with the Katana. Atomus Longfellow, hi Paul, if you show up to a gig and there was a Katana Mark II from factory reset settings and no Tone Studio available, how can you quickly make a live clean patch with as much headroom as possible? Oh, that's a really good question actually. I wonder if that's next week's actually I can't do it next week. James and myself are away. I wonder if that's the next episode, the next live session. We do that, and we just set up just by using the controls on the top of the Katana. That would be a really good video. So thanks, Artemis. We'll do that. Yeah. So next Katana live session in a couple of weeks, we'll do that. Okay, Bruce says, 2 weeks ago, Jose Flores asked about using a mic along with the Katana. Simple, put an effects loop at end of chain. So hold on a sec. 2 weeks ago, Jose Flores asked about using a mic along with the Katana. Simple, put effects loop at the end of the chain. FX out to first channel, small of a mixer, mic into second channel, mix output to effects return. You can actually do that. It's quite faffy, but yes, Bruce, that would work, definitely. Oretis Nelpamantis, excuse me if I butchered that. In your presets, do you use these extra EQ block to edit the sound more, or not so much? No, I don't use the EQ block to edit the effects, and I'll tell you why. Because if you plug like your Katana in, if I bring a Katana around to your house, we plug it in, you'll probably find that it will sound different to if it's in my studio. I'm in like a more treated room here, so there's not a lot of frequencies bouncing around this room. Well, if I go, plug it into, your house, you might be in a tiled room, so it's going to sound very different. So you might, personally, I like to use the EQ to shape the sound at a gig. I mean, not that I use the Katana for gigging, but if I did use it for gigging, I would shape it for the sound of the room that I was in. If there was loads of bass, I'd be trimming the bass down a bit, and not using the EQ that's on the Katana. Sorry, on the EQ on the front of the Katana. I'm talking about the actual parametric EQ. Let me just switch back and I'll show you. No, not that one. I can't do it for some reason. Hold on. Next one there. No, next one. There we are. Okay. This EQ here. So, for instance, I'd use the low cut probably at a gig, and possibly the high cut as well. I hope that helps. I've messed up my screen now, haven't I? Let's have a look. Okay. By the way, guys, if anyone wants any preset packs, you can go to the Studio Rats website, which is thestudioRats.net, and you go to the downloads page, and there's lots of different Katana presets in there. Some for the Mark 1 and lots for the Mark 2. Dilly Black says, Paul, your broadband seems to be struggling. It could be mine, it could be yours though. Could be yours. Sorry guys, I can't. There's nothing I can do about broadband. Aristotle's Duca says, I had a TRS cable that was not working properly, and that was the reason my GAFC was not working. Check the cable first. I've actually used 2 different cables, Aristotle, so it's possible I could have 2 down, but yes, I think something's gone wrong anyway, but I'll have a look later. Thomas Moore says, how would a pod work with the Katana? Would it work as a good speaker? And would you put it in the loop? Okay, so Thomas, I think you're asking, so to use the Katana speaker, so to plug in the pod is like a multi-effects unit, similar to the sort of sounds that are in the Katana, but you've got an expression pedal on it, and everything's built in. So yes, if I was going to use that, Thomas, I would put it in the effects loop, exactly as you said, and that bypasses the whole front end of the Katana, so your amp modeling and your distortions, that sort of stuff. And then, but make sure that you use that you turn on the effects loop inside the Tone Studio software. Sorry, my brain's shut down. Let's have a look. Where are we? Orestes says, can you assign a mod and a booster in one button on the GFC so that both turn off on at the same time? Do you know, I don't know about that. I will have a check. I'll have a check about that, and then maybe I can do that in a video in a live session as well. Ryan 13, I have a pod go into my Cat 100 Mark II head, power amp in, into the Marshall 2x12 cab. Nice, sounds great. Yeah, I mean it's a great way of doing it. It's a great way of doing it. You know, then your Katana is like a lightweight sort of portable speaker for other amp modelers. Len Probert says the expression pedal seems to decouple from the first channel I assigned to it when trying to assign it to a second channel, even when okay, the same effects such as overdrive. Yeah, so you need to set that inside a Tone Studio to tell the second channel, excuse me, that's what you want to do with it. Each channel is going to each channel is independent, so think of it like a preset. Well, it is a preset, but think of it like you can program up exactly what you want, and all your effects and your your GAFC, what you want that to do, and your expression pedal on one channel. And then when you switch to a different channel, you might want to use that expression pedal for, say, like reverb, or because it's on a different channel, and you might want to sort of boost the reverb or boost your delay. So you can do that And that's, to me, that's the way it should be. So if you don't want it to do that, or you want it to control all of those effects, the same effect on each channel, then you need to go into Tone Studio and tell Tone Studio that's what you want it to do. Red Rover, the effing game cap. Cheers, mate. That's very kind of you. We've got our first super chat, which is Red Rover's donated $10. Thanks, mate. That's really kind of you. Where are we? Okay, Top Low Telly's in the house. Len Probert, sorry if I'm not being clear, but I mean when I'm in Boss Tone Studio, this happens. Oh, yeah, but you need to set that for every single channel. And then save that patch. If you're not doing that, maybe I'm... And if you are doing that, maybe I'm reading this wrong. And it might be worthwhile sending an email over to Boss. Or Len, come on the show next Wednesday. Come onto a live show that we do on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. GMT, and then explain it exactly what you want it to do, and then we'll have a look at that. 11 likes, only 10 likes. Come on, folks. Yeah, Top Load Telly's. He's trying to get you guys to give us a like. If you can do that, that would be great. It really does help, and makes YouTube sort of push this out further. So yeah, thanks, Top Load. Pedal board into a Boss Katana mic'd with an SM57 into my audio interface. Nice. Jeff Rock, can you put all of the effects, mod delay, reverb, post effects, loop return? I'm thinking of taking the dry line out of another amp into the effects return of the Katana to get a wet dry setup. Yes. Yeah, so post effects. Yeah, so you just have to do, like I explained earlier, put it post reverb. And that's after all the effects. Where are we? You're fine here, says Steve. Cheers, Steve. Thanks again, Red Rover, for the kind donation. Nita Strauss G-string. Excellent. Yeah, nice. Hey Paul, is the Katana a good pedal platform? Yeah, it's really good. Look, I'll show you. I've got my big pedal board plugged in. Let me see if I can. Hold on, I'll show you. Nope, not that one. That one. There we go. If I lift up this camera here, and I go down here, I can't. I don't think I've got enough. I have. There's my pedal board down there. Okay. So I've got all of that. So I'll demonstrate some of the effects that are in that. Ooh, camera's gone wonky. There we go. Let me go back to me there. Sorry, too many cameras, too much switching. Okay, let's turn off all of the effects. What's happened here? Something's gone weird. That's why. Okay, let's go back to... Series parallel. Okay, so there's my straight guitar. Sounds straight into the Katana. If I switch on a overdrive pedal, so that's going into the front of the Katana. The Katana, you can have it ultra clean, so if you want to run things like delays, let me put a delay in. And let me turn up the mix of my delay. So this is delay going into the front of the amp. And as a pedal platform, it works incredibly well because it is so you can have it so clean. You know, it's a wonder sometimes. I'm buying all these expensive amps at the moment, and plug into the Katana and think that sounds great. What am I doing? Anyway, it's good fun. So yes, Nita Strauss's G string. It does work very well as a pedal platform. I think it works really well as a wet dry wet thing. So say that you've got a valve amp and you want to use that as your dry. Sorry, as a wet dry rig, I mean. and you want to use that as your dry amp, you can use the Katana as your effects amp, and it'll work perfectly for that. It's probably better than running into a lot of sort of valve amps, because it's you can get it so clean. Red Rover, the effing Game Cat, Neatstrauss's game G String it's an excellent platform. Yeah, great. Thanks for the answer. How would a PRS 594 compared to a DGT? Would they be close or totally different? They're different pickups, Thomas. So the DGT has the Dave Grissom pickups. They're not massively different. I mean, so my favourite PRS is this. This is Silver Sky. Actually, it's my favourite Strat. It's the best sounding Strat for some reason. So if I was going to be buying a humbucker PRS, it's a DGT or a 594, or a 594 the McCarty. Yeah, great. I've got a McCarty, a soap bar, McSoapy, and that's brilliant. Actually, let me go and get that. I'll go and plug that in. See how that sounds. And the thing about these McCartys are that they have a really nice chunky neck. I like sort of chunky necks on guitars, and yeah, because they're more like the old sort of 50s Les Pauls. If you can get one, if you can find one, check out the McSoapys, because they're absolutely brilliant. Personally, I do find PRS humbuckers a little bit dark. That's why I tend to prefer the P90s and the single coil PRSs, but it's a preference thing. Top Low Telly says this may work using the effects switch on the GAFC. Only have the effect you wish to use engaged. The effects will switch, will turn on those effects on or off at the same time. That's true. Yeah, that could work. Simon, not the Pieman, says when setting for Run Like Hell, I can't get the delays to work together nicely. I use a 380 508, but I get this weird jumping in the middle of the effect. What's a 380 508? Okay. Do you want me to show you that? Let me show you. I can't play Run Like Hell. If James was here, he could play it. Let me go back to the effects. Okay. Let me turn off my drive. Okay. So my Run Like Hell dotted eighth notes. It's dotted eighth notes is what you want, which is like this. Now I've forgotten how to play it. Go back. Cut back to me. And then however that rhythm part goes, wherever it is. Yes, you need to set it to dotted eighth notes. Now you can do that. I did a. If you didn't see it. Who asked? Who was it? Who was it that asked? Sorry guys, I've got a lot of information that I'm trying to take in, and I can't remember who asked. I can't even find who did that. Who asked that question? Here we go. Here we go. Okay, Simon, not the Pieman. That was it. Yeah. So I did a live stream about a month ago on setting up dotted eighth notes, So have a look at that. If you're using the effects inside the Katana, if you're not, and you're using like a separate delay, James and I did a video. Sorry, that one. James and I did a video about the same week. So if you look at how to set up dotted eighth notes, that'll explain to you how to do it and how to tap it on a normal delay pedal. Can you read my super chat question? Oh my god, I'm so sorry, mate. Of course, that's the whole point of super chat, isn't it? I'm sorry, Red Rover. I got so excited about getting a super chat, and then I completely missed you. I'm so sorry, which almost defeats the point of you being so generous. I'm so sorry. I use the artist for clean only and use pedals for everything else. Pedals dialed for Strat. Okay, I use the artist for clean only and use pedals for everything else. Pedals dialed for Strat are different than for Les Paul 335. Do different clean tone channels make up for it so you don't have to change my pedal settings? Yeah, definitely. Again, I've done a video on this, Red Rover. Let me show you. As you've done a super chat, let me go in depth and let me find the Katana. It should be there. Great. Okay. Let me go and get a guitar with humbuckers. Okay, now you've got there is a slight problem, because when you're using like a guitar like this with humbuckers, you've got more output than say single coil, so you're going to be, your effects that you're going into are going to behave differently. So you heard how sort of the amount of clarity that we had with the Strat. Right now, this guitar is starting to distort the front end. Okay, so for instance, if I want to do, you can hear that it's a bit muddy. So yeah, so there's a couple of things inside the Katana. Let me cut to there. Let me bring this down a bit and zoom into here. Now, if you click on the effects block and you choose, where is it? Guitar sim. Okay. Now, what this is, it's a way of them EQing the amp. Okay, so what you can do here, if I switch that on, right, and you see it says type. Now that says single to humbucker. If I go humbucker to single, so what that's doing now, it's gonna approximate the sound of my single coils and make the Les Paul thinner, as it were. So, and you can adjust this. So for instance, if you think it's a bit too bright, sorry, my Les Paul's a bit out of tune. And then you want to take it off. And it definitely does, or it does sound more like single coils. And if I switch on some effects, take it off. And the good thing about using this, sorry, I don't even know if you guys saw that. Let me just go back to cut. Let me do that. Let me just demonstrate that again. Okay, so effects, go down to guitar sim, and then you can choose between humbucker single to humbucker. So if you've got a single coil guitar and you want to make it sound like it's got humbuckers, H to HF, I can't remember what that is. So single to hollow body guitar, humbucker to acoustic. God, that might sound a bit weird, but let's try that. absolute rubbish. Yeah, don't worry about that. But the humbucker to single coil works really, really well, I think. I hope that answers the question, and thank you again for your generosity. And I'm so sorry I forgot to answer your question. Ryan13 says, I'm yet to find a pedal that doesn't play nice on my Katana. Excellent pedal platform. Great. Nita Strauss's G-string. Sounds awesome. Really does. Cheers, Paul. Anytime. Classic Rock says, I use my Boss Katana 1 as a pedal platform. It's really, really good. Yes, brilliant. Wesley says, Boss Katana Mini. Where did the DNA from the Wazza amp come from? Mine is the Mini. Oh, interesting. I don't know. Dave Tyndall, I'm seriously considering selling my pedals and pedal board stuff. I'm loving my pod go into the power amp input of the Mark II 50 watt. Brilliant. Yeah, great one. Yeah, I mean, loads of people, if you look on Facebook at the moment, loads of people are getting rid of all their pedals because it seems that loads of people are going amp modelers and, you know, going that way. Where are we? Okay, Dilly Black says, Paul, please do a session on your clean playing arrangements. How you go about, for example, that little piece you played with the delay a few moments ago, when demo in the Katana as a pedal bass. Oh, thanks, mate. Yeah, funny enough, I'm not feeling good about my playing at the moment. If I'm completely honest, I don't know what it is. Sometimes you just some weeks you just go, oh, like I'm not playing as well as I used to for some reason, but it'll all come back, I'm sure. But thank you for the compliment, and yes, I'll do that for you. Oh, nice, Thomas. Thomas just got the PRS Fiore. Fiore, it's pronounced something like that. It's awesome. Yes. Do you know what? When I got my Silver Sky, the Strat PRS, that was the other one I was sort of considering. But yeah, I think that's a really, really versatile guitar. To me, that probably is PRS's most versatile guitar. Yeah, I'd love to try one. I haven't tried one yet. Wesley says, thanks for the answer to the confusing problem. Red Rover the effing Game Cat. I use artists for clean only and use pedals for everything else. Pedals dialed for Strat are different than for Les Paul or 335. Do different clean tone channels make up for it so I don't have to change my pedal settings? Yes. Yes. So if you don't want to use that effect that I showed you, the guitar simulator, you can use the EQ, and you can put the EQ in a different place, and then you can sort of shape the EQ. You can think of like humbuckers having a lot more sort of low mids, say like around sort of 2 to 500 hertz. They've got like they're pushing those low mids, and that's why it sounds so different. That's why they sound more woolly. What is going on there? I've got something weird on. Hold on. I've got something weird going on. Oh, here it is. Got the guitar sim on the wrong one. So yeah, you know, lots of people set their amps completely differently for like a humbucker guitar, like a Les Paul, and for a Strat. And you know, I'm the sort of person that I always set my amps up for single coils, and then I pick up a Les Paul or I pick up a PRS or whatever. Luckily, this Les Paul isn't like that. It's got loads of clarity, but you pick up like a PRS with humbuckers and you go, God, that's dark, and I've lost all my clarity, and then you have to re-EQ the amp. But yeah, so single coils have more high mids, humbuckers have more low mids. So if you want to just remove the low mids, if you want to make your humbucker sound a little bit more single coil like. David Bro says, on the distortions on the boost settings, which do you find sounds the most realistic and actually close to the pedal? Say the Governor. The best, personally, I think the best overdrive in the Katana is the Blues Driver. I think you can do so much with it, and you can really get quite drivey with it. Personally, I don't do sort of massive like really high gain stuff, like real sort of metal stuff. But the Blues Driver, will really go into high gain. Where are we? Okay. Dead Cat for Cutie says, what do you use as a power supply for the external effects? I know it's a very bad effect from using cheap. Yeah. from cheap power supplies. I've got a few different ones. I've got a couple of True Tones. Actually, I'll unplug this now. I'm done there. Let me unplug and I'll show you. So I've got one of those, which is a One Spot Pro. This is the CS12. It's got 12 isolated outputs, and it sounds, you know, I never get any sort of noise issues, or not coming from, you know, not because of that. I've got a CS6, which I use on a smaller board, and I've just, in my big pedal board down there, I've got the new Fender, one of the new Fender ones. That's big. That's like a 12 output as well. The only thing about that, and I didn't realise at the time, it's got a fan in it, so it's always got this sort of whirring noise, which is a bit annoying. But it's 12 isolated as well, and you don't get any problems. You don't get any sort of noise and stuff from the pedals. Cheers, Red Rover. I do apologise for the for missing it. I feel really bad now. Why? James says, why location recordings, which is James said, why are you not streaming on Twitch as well? Do you know? That's a good question, James. I don't know how to. I don't know how to do on the ATEM, which is the camera box that I'm using. I don't know how to stream them to more than one thing at a time. But maybe you can help me with that. Steve Milk, what are the easiest settings using just the amp, or to get good clean bluesy sound? Again, that's probably, if you don't mind, Steve, probably a different day where I can sort of concentrate on that and just do a whole live session on that. I have done a Katana video on that, to be honest. So if you go back and have a look on the Studio Rats YouTube channel and type in Katana, blues tone, or it was something like that, Katana blues, you'll see, and I set up a complete sort of blues tone, or my idea of a blues tone. Everyone's idea of a blues tone is completely different. I mean, you know, would you consider, you know, like the difference between, say, like Joe Bonamassa's blues tone and Gary Moore's blues tone, and, you know, Albert King's blues tone are completely different. So it's that sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, I really like blues tones with things like tellies and strats. Single coils for me on blues tones just work so well. But yes, if that doesn't help, I'll do a send me a message, and I'll do a whole sort of live session on it, which should be quite fun actually. Where are we? Top Low Telly said, Paul, sorry if I missed this. Is your pedal board plugged into the effects loop or straight into the front of the amp? So, not that. These pedals here are all plugged into the effects loop, and that and the pedal board, which I showed you earlier, is plugged into the front of the amp. Where are we? Is there a difference? Yes, there is a massive difference. So let me I'll explain it quickly. If you plug delays into the front of the amp, let me show you what I mean just quickly. Okay, so I've got a delay on my pedal board, and now it doesn't work. Why is that? I've unplugged the, hold on, give me 2 seconds. There we go. I shouldn't have unplugged all those pedals. Okay, so as you can hear, I've got delay plugged in. Let's see, let me tune up. Okay, so there's the sound of my guitar going straight into the amp. Oh god! So we've had quite a warm day. My studio's been heating up today, so guitars aren't behaving themselves, especially Les Pauls. Okay, so there's the sound of the guitar. If I put a delay going into the front of the amp, so this is the guitar plugged into a delay going straight in the front end of the amp. Okay, now if I turn up the gain, this one, if I turn up the gain on the Katana, let's go to the crunch tone. Now listen to it. Where am I? There. The level of the delay has just gone haywire. So let me go back to how it was. Because what you're doing is you're distorting the delays. So the delay pedal is going into the front of the amp, you're adding gain to that, and then you're just going to distort the delays. To me, unless you're using like a really clean sound, that works really, really well with delays going into the front of the amp, especially like slap delays, this sort of sound. Not like that. Which a slap delay is basically emulating room reverb. It's like a slap, it's like a reflection. That works really, really well. But everything else, if I use delays, I normally go into the effects loop. Hope that helps. We got another couple of super chats. Cheers, guys. This is really nice. Dilly Black says, your clean playing is really super. More please. Thanks. Oh, cheers, Dilly. That's really kind of you. Red Rover, the effing Game Cat. you give me another one. Thanks, mate. This is for answering the repost of the original super chat question with even more info. You're the best. Oh, cheers, mate. Thank you very much. You're really kind. Thank you. Where are we? Okay, have you tried the PRS SE Paul's guitar? I haven't actually. Do you know, I've only ever, Thomas, I've only ever tried one SE, and that was a baritone, believe it or not. But no, I haven't tried, I've hardly tried any of the SEs, but I hear they're good. Thank you for the live. Anytime, Thomas. Steve Milk says, was thinking of getting a vintage type Strat, think classic vibe 60s. Wondering if the SE Silver Sky is the way I should be looking instead. Do you think it'd be twice as good as a classic vibe? Honestly, I mean, I've only ever tried my Silver Sky, and it's the best Strat I've ever played. Let me go and get it quickly, and I'll explain a few things. Okay, so actually, let me go and get a couple. Okay, this. So we've got two Strat type guitars. Take this pick out of my mouth. This is a new actually, or I just got this. This is a custom shop Strat. If you bought this new, it's twice the price of this. Okay, because it's got it's got a fender on the headstock, and it's got this little, if you can see it, custom shop. Where's, God, I can't get that. There we go. Got a little custom shop thing. So this is like a handmade version of an old 60s Strat. It is a 1960. Right, I'll play both, and you can tell me which one you think sounds better. So we'll use it in the fourth position. Go back actually, let me just change the patch back to how it was so we get a good sound. There we go. And the trem works really, really well. Now if I plug in my custom shop, one thing, the weight of this one is way heavier than that Silver Sky. The Silver Sky is really light. They do pick some good wood. Same position. So you could argue that this sounds more like a Strat, and it does. It sounds like a vintage Strat. The Silver Sky definitely sounds more modern. It's brighter, and it's brighter and fuller. Well, this is. It still sounds great. But personally, I prefer that. Unplug it again. It's got so much more clarity on this. So yeah, I'd really consider looking at the SEs, at the SE Silver Sky. Unfortunately, the thing about the Silver Skies, they tend to hold the American ones tend to hold their value for some reason. I think, well, apparently it was PRS's most or best-selling guitar. It's PRS's best-selling guitar of all time. So you'd think that the market would be, you know, awash with them, but they're well worth trying out. If you can get an American one, I haven't tried the SE version, but I'm sure it's great. You know, anything PRS is, they build stuff really, really, really well. Where are we? Alec Bourne said, "Evening guys, how's the word on the new air step or the big Katana?" For the big Katana. Did you? Oh, maybe you went, Alex. Maybe you didn't see it. So there's the air step cat. Unfortunately, it's not working at the moment because I'm iOS, so I use Apple products. So this at the moment only works on Android. So hopefully next week I could try this out and let you know what it's like. Thomas Moore, I've tried the SE Pulse guitar and it's great. So is the SE Hollow Body too. Great, nice one. Ron Chalbot says, "First time chatting with you, just wanted to say hello and you do a great job at the content that you do." Oh, cheers, Ron, that's really nice of you. So this is cheering me up doing this evening. Ryan 13, I use the Blues Driver for my high gain tone, crunch with variation Blues Driver, Boss SD1 in the front of the amp. Nice one. Yeah, so I recently got it's on my other pedal board at the moment, the Angry Driver. That's a brilliant pedal. That's a Blues Driver and a Angry Charlie, JHS Angry Charlie in the same pedal, in the same Boss pedal, and that's a brilliant pedal. It's really versatile. Oh, Larry's in the house. Larry says, "Sorry I'm late, Paul. Back off to the beginning to enjoy the episode. Have a good weekend, everyone." Cheers, Greg. Yeah, for some reason, Larry's real name is Greg. I don't know why he calls himself Larry. He can explain that. Jeff Rock says, "Okay, what's Twitch?" Yeah, I thought that as well. Twitch is like, it's another sort of social media platform thing. Let's pull out a tune. What? I'm shocked. Ken, everything what Boss expression pedal is best, low impedance or high? I don't know, to be honest. Just go and get yourself the Boss EV13, I think it's called. The blue one. It's this one here. Let me go and get it. Can you see it? I don't know if the camera's... that one there. It's called an EV30. That's the one that works really, really well. I haven't really tried other ones, so I don't know about the impedance stuff. Actually, impedance, it's an expression pedal. It's not a volume pedal. So maybe you're getting confused with volume pedals and expression pedals. Where are we? Glenn Evans, nice vintage white. Actually, that's not vintage white. That's it's cream, I think. My other one's vintage white. What's it called? Olympic white. That I'm selling actually. Mayhu123 says my favourite series about the Katana. Salute, guys. Oh, cheers. Thanks, mate. Nietzsche Strauss's G-string says, "What's the most transparent Boss drive pedal?" Blues Driver. Blues Driver. Get the Blues Driver. It's a brilliant pedal. Sounds so good. Aztec Gold or Fire Mist. This is Aztec Gold in this one. Slobada Naradu says, "Hi Paul, just wondering, is there any inbuilt fuzz in the Katana that cleans nicely when you roll the volume down?" That's a good question. Should we try it? So let me switch to, no, that one maybe. Try that. There we go. Let's zoom in. Okay, so I haven't got any pedals on. Let's go to the booster. The Blues Driver. Okay. So here's the Blues Driver, which is a model of their. It's a model of the Blues Driver. So it sounds like this. God, I don't know what's going on there. Hold on. So you can get really gnarly with it. It's got more gain than you'd ever need. Right, let's have a look. Okay, so well, let's start with proper fuzzes. Let's go to 60s fuzz. Sounds like this. Let's drive it up. So it's like a gated sort of fuzz. If I bring the volume back on the guitar. Nah, it doesn't. Let's try it on a different pickup. No, but it's not a real fuzz circuit, is it? Let's try the muff fuzz. No, they don't work like a normal fuzz works. Octave fuzz, just try it. Now I love the octave fuzz because when you get up here, at the top end, you start to get the octave effect, but it doesn't work lower down. You can hear it start to come in there. Yeah, I really like that. That's cool. Cut back to me there. There we go. Yeah. So sorry. It doesn't really work that well, does it? I think you're probably better off getting a. It sounds good if you've got it going sort of full tilt, but doesn't really work like a normal fuzz, does it? Unfortunately. But then one of those things, I guess. Think about all the different effects that you've got that come with the Katana. It's pretty good. Ryan 13. Actually, both guitars sound fantastic, Paul. Yeah, actually, I thought I haven't actually compared them yet, but the other one does actually sound good. I do like that guitar actually. Love the silver sky and your gold. Cheers, mate. Says Thomas. May 123. What setup is the most complete for the Katana 100 Mark II? Foot switch, expression pedal, FS6, something more, something different. FS6. Oh, my brain's gone. What's the FS6? Just get the. If you're talking about foot switch, the JFC is a must as far as I'm concerned for the Katana. It's just. It does so much, and then you can plug expression pedals into it, and then you haven't got to have big long cables, loads of big long cables going to your amp. So if that's what you mean, get the GAFC, get an expression pedal, get a couple of expression pedals, and you'll be golden. Where are we? Topload says, my SE hollow body piezo rocks, very nice instrument for the money. Oh, that's a good guitar, that with the piezo in it. How does the Boss Next Tone compare to the Katana? It's quite different. The Boss Next Tone, think of it like think of the Boss Katana like a modelling amp, or a modelling, something like a Line 6 Helix or a Kemper, that sort of thing. It's got all the effects, it's got all the different sounds in it. The Next Tone is more like a valve amp. Think of it that way, where you've got a couple of different sounds, but you haven't got all the variety of different effects. You've only got like reverb. There might be delay in there, I can't remember, but it sounds really good. I think a lot of people, unless you're like a real sort of tone snob, I think you'd go to the Next Tone and go, oh, I don't like it as much as the Katana, but then I think the tone of the Next Tone is really, really good. Jeff Rock says, I have a Keeley super fat mod pedal. Their take on the modded blues driver with AB with the Katana blues drive, totally identical. Oh, nice one. That might be worth looking at. So that's a good tip. So the Keeley super fat mod pedal. Bruce says, I have PRS both Core and SE, and there's a tremendous difference between them. The price, yes. The Core sound and play better compared side by side, but the SEs on their own are just fine. That's a good one. Cheers, Bruce. Thomas Moore says, are the Katana effects almost the same as the normal Boss pedals? For example, I have the CE2 Wazza With the Katana sound the same, very close. Yeah, they do sound. They sound close. They're not going to be the same because, you know, all these pedals are analog pedals, and the Katana is sort of modelling those pedals. I mean, yeah, I think they do a good job of it. I think you'd prefer the, well, on most cases, I think you'd prefer the original pedal. Do you like, Thomas Moore says, do you like the Boss Core 100 effects modeler? Yes, I've done lots of videos on it, Thomas. It's really good. You have to program it. So when you get one, the sounds, you know, the sounds out of the box to me aren't that great, and then you can really edit it, and then when you know, once you learn how to edit it, which is quite complicated, it can sound really, really, really good. Okay, last few questions. SA, have you installed the latest firmware containing the HM2 modeler? No, I haven't. Makes one hell of a racket. Nice one. I'll do that. Cheers, SA. Jeff Rock says, the built-in 60s fuzz volume roll-off works well with guitars with 50s wiring. Good point. I don't think I've got any guitars with 50s wiring. Major upgrade. Yes, I have. Yeah. No, anyway. Different time. Only ever had the Boss Blues driver in pedal form. Gave it away to my son and just kept the Katana. I do the pod go rather than the individual pedals now. Nice one. Yeah, lots of people are going that way. Major upgrade said also go from the pod go into the orange CR35RT. Nice. Aristotle's Dukas. Big Muff Dow's not clean up even as a pedal. It's more of a fuzz face that does it. Well, the 60s fuzz, yeah, but it doesn't do that. Jeff Rock, the next tone has delay or tremolo and reverb. There we go. All right, last question. Nathan says, when I plug amps with the USB into my computer, there is a delay when trying to record. Is that because I need proper audio interface? More than likely, yeah. So what you need to do is to set your buffer size. So go into your DAW, Pro Tools, Logic, Cubase, Studio One, whatever you use, and just bring your buffer size down. Ideally, you want to get it below 128. 64 works perfectly. If your computer can handle it, you'll be absolutely fine. But you need to turn that down. At the moment, your computer's probably set to 1024, which you're going to get a big delay. You're going to get a big sort of noticeable difference, latency between when you play the guitar and when you're hearing it back through your speakers. Okay, we're getting a couple more questions in, but I'll do a few more. Top Low Telly, the EV30 is a dual expression pedal, right? Why would we need two? Learning how to program the software seems to be key. Think, Paul, think. May who? Okay. I'm trying to think. I haven't got my GAFC on me to check if there's dual expression pedal in, but yes, you can use that for two different effects. Think, Paul, think. I can't think what that's about. Brett Spencer says, cheers, Paul, you're the best. Anytime, mate. Major upgrade. Have you seen the Spark Mini yet? Plans to review. I have seen it. Well, we've seen, James and I talked about it last Wednesday on the show. Yeah. James is a bit more keen than me. Yeah. But yeah, it's good. Yeah, good little thing. I've owned the Katana Mark II for 3 years. Says Crazy 8. The built-in effects are good, but I prefer pedals like Blues Driver, Triangle Fuzz. Use stacked or separate. Good stream, by the way. Cheers, mate. Yeah, good point. Legend, thanks, Paul. Okay, let's call it a day there. Because what time is it? How long have we done? Oh, we've done an hour and 15. Yeah, cheers, guys. Just a couple of little things. Like, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. Really helps us out. If you want to buy some, if you want some Boss Katana patches, you can go to the Studio Rats website, which is thestudiorats.net, and you can go to the downloads page, and there's a few different, there's quite a few different sort of Katana preset packs for the Mark 1 and the Mark 2. So if you want to go and get some, go and get them there. And yeah, I guess that's it. But thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming on. You cheered me up no end, and hopefully I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Cheers.